One of my roles here at East Adelaide School is to lead literacy change from foundation to year 7. We wanted to have an inquiry process to be able to bring all of our staff together in the early years, so we released our foundation and our year 1 and our year 2 teachers for half a day each term to come together and explore the new research around the science of reading, look at the simple view of reading, be able to investigate Scalbra's reading rope, and to also have a look at what is a systematic synthetic phonics program. In doing that, we realised that we were doing a synthetics program. We actually had something that was up and running, but for consistency, we wanted to be able to explore what that would look like to ensure that everybody was doing the same activities, the same programs, and the same tasks to ensure consistency across our early years program.
For me, the importance of this work is not about the results in NAPLAN, the results in our phonics screening test, or the results in our PAT-R. The significant impact of this work is to give the children the key to unlock the power of reading. If they are successful readers, whether they are receptions or year 7s, then we have given them that magic key to make a difference lifelong.
Each day in the classroom, the teachers will have a phonics lesson, and we start with our phonics lessons with introducing obviously a new concept that we're looking at. So when we start at the beginning of the year with our foundation students, we start introducing what's called the basic code. And the basic code is where we match a speech sound to the single letters of the alphabet. So for example, the letter S we would introduce with the sound S, and the letter T we would introduce with the sound T. And by introducing just that one letter with that one sound correspondence, we find that the children are able to pick that up at quite a fast pace. And in doing so, they're able to quickly use that letter sound knowledge to be able to segment and blend words when they're reading, and to also segment and blend words as they are writing and encoding or writing on with their spelling of those words.
The next sound is I, and I is made with I, magic E. Can you help me with this one? The first sound is N, I, T, and the word is night.
After we've finished introducing the basic code, we continue on with the initial code, where we actually match the 44 speech sounds to a letter or letter combination spelling. We will normally start with the most common spelling pattern to match that particular speech sound, so that the children are able to build up a repertoire of those sounds and how they can actually write or read those sounds. We have a clear scope and sequence that outlines the particular phonemes or sounds that are going to be introduced, and which letter pattern combinations are going to be introduced as we move through the program. We also have a large focus on the fundamental skills of segmenting and blending. So it's not just about the children understanding and being able to recognise the letter sounds, it's really around the skills of being able to segment and blend those sounds in order to read and to write. That's been a really large focus with us here. One of the key areas for us and what we found successful is around developing a clear scope and sequence, and also ensuring that our decodable text resources match that scope and sequence. And this really allows, as teachers are introducing the code, the children have books that they are able to access and read and practice that code independently.
So prior to 2019, our site improvement plan foci included mathematics and reading. We had heavily invested in the area of professional learning in reading for a number of years, and we spent quality time in unpacking the data, whether it be the NAPLAN data, the running record data, or the PAT data at every year level to gauge our impact on children's learning, which also then had an impact on the type of professional learning that we as staff needed to continuously improve our teaching practice back in the classroom. What happened in 2018, once we actually analysed the data that we did receive from NAPLAN, we noticed a significant change in our writing data. So we went back and had a look at the trends that were being demonstrated in our writing data over a 5-year period, and we noticed that something that we hadn't noticed beforehand, that there was a slight dip in our writing data each year, with then a dramatic fall in 2018. And that clearly spelt out for us that we needed to shift our focus from reading to writing. At that time, it was really critical to ensure that we worked as a team. So I have 12 classes, reception to year 2, so it meant that every teacher needed to be part of this process. So funding was really important, so that was critical to our journey of change. And we decided to ensure that it was something like an action research type of project where teachers were exposed to recent and current research and evidence-based practice and what it could look like in their classrooms. So come 2020 and our review of our site improvement plan, we found, of course, that reading sort of took that dip, and we needed to ensure that reading featured somewhere within our site improvement plan without changing it significantly. One thing that we certainly do understand as teachers at East Adelaide School is the importance of reading and its impact on writing and on spelling. And so we found that that was probably the clinching point as part of our review to ensure that reading and systematic synthetic phonics featured within one of our actions as part of our goals. Hence, we started our journey, reception to year 7, because of our work in the reception to year 2 area had a huge impact on what was going on in terms of orthographic mapping year 3 to year 7, and it enabled our teachers year 3 to year 7 to have a closer look at what they were doing. Where were the perceived gaps in terms of students learning and their reading, and how that was impacting on spelling and writing. So we have undertaken a journey, not just reception to year 2, but reception right through to year 7, which has been an enormous shift. It has been successful because teachers have seen themselves as the change agents rather than it being a top-down. So it was the investigation and analysis of data, looking at evidence from within their own practice, and being able to sit down together and engage in that rigorous debate about their practice in school time rather than something that happens over and above and removed from the classroom. One of the most important contributing factors to our work, whether it be as part of the review or the journey throughout, has been our reference to the guidebooks. Whether it be the guidebook that our school sits within or other guidebooks, it has been significant to our work because what we've been enabled to do is go back and have a look at what is it within our explicit teaching that we haven't covered and we need to now cover, and ensure that we've actually see it. It's really relevant and prevalent in our classroom practice. When we undertook an audit as part of our review process, our staff were exceptionally honest with us as to what was working for them and what wasn't working for them. And when we came together, it was interesting to see that the first comment they made was, "We believe that consistency is lacking." So review in number 1. Number 2 is providing the resourcing time and funding to release teachers in order to have that quality time to debate and discuss in that rigorous forum, and allowing them that opportunity to feel comfortable that they don't have to rush off back to a class. They've got 3 hours in which to feel like a professional teacher and engage in that dialogue.
The literacy guidebooks have been a really integral part of what we have been exploring here at East Adelaide. We've also been making reference to the Department for Education best advice papers which link from the guidebooks. In particular, we've been looking at those around the Big Six of reading, and we found that the teachers having the time to be able to explore those in depth have given them the confidence and the knowledge to understand what those 6 components are, what they're already doing in the classroom that supports the implementation of that, and then perhaps moving forward what they're able to bring into their practice and their pedagogy to ensure that we've got effective teaching and learning happening in the classrooms.
Over my teaching years, I've really struggled with a spelling program that supports students' learning. I found using now the sounds and focusing on a list of words that contain those sounds, revising those sounds, and then moving on in a sequential set of sounds, that they are showing huge progress. We've used the phonics screening check to see how they're tracking as well. So we have done a quick check on the sounds that they know, and we've noticed improvement in not only the regular words but also the pseudo words. One of the things we've been doing to keep the families engaged and understand what we're teaching at school is to send home a sheet to practice at home, and it has a list of words on it for the children to practice. We do the words in the two colours, so one's in black and a lighter shade of grey, so that the parents can actually see the sounds that the children are learning. I've had feedback from the parents, and the parents have said how wonderful it is to see the sounds that they're learning, and they can understand the sounds in words. Before they were teaching ch as k, h, so now they can see that that digraph has one sound but two letters, and they can help the students by going t, e, ch, I have a student that has made huge progress from the start of the year. She had basic letter sound, most of her letter sounds, and now she is actually finger spelling. She's excited about her writing, she's excited about her reading, and wants to come to school and wants to learn. So she's actually cracked some of the code, and she just loves learning now.
One of the positive areas that we're finding and the benefits of having the synthetic phonics programs is the engagement level of our children. And I'm walking into classrooms, I'm working with teachers, working alongside them with their students, and the excitement that we're seeing in the children for them realising that they know the sounds, they know the letters, and they can actually read the words on the page has been really quite exciting. And they run up and they come and tell me what they're reading, what sound they're learning about, and they're desperate to show me their books or to show me how they're going to do their finger spelling, how they're going to do all of their hand chopping when they do their phonemic awareness. And I walk in and I get a big smile and a big wave, and that's really exciting to see. Another area that I believe has been really positive is that the children are transferring their knowledge not only in their reading but in their writing. So I'm walking into classrooms with our foundation students. They've been here for 6 months, and looking at what they were writing at the beginning of the year, and after having our 6 months with our systematic synthetic phonics and the code knowledge, seeing how much they're writing and how much their overall recording of words has improved. And they love to share the stories with us, and the fact that they can then read them back to us and they're very confident about that, it's really lovely to see.